AI means what it is doing? It is generating. It is generating something, right? It is generating a certain form of text. I'll give some examples very shortly. It is generating a form of text, and since it is generating, that is why the name is given as generative AI. Okay, an example of this is ChatGPT. So this is called a large language model. So why large language model? So large language model is something that is called the LLM. Why it is large language model? So large language model means that it is inputting. A large language model means it is inputting a huge amount of data. Okay, it is inputting a huge amount of data, and since it is inputting a huge amount of data, that is why we are calling it as a large language model. Okay, that is why we are calling it as a large language model, since it is inputting a huge amount of data. Okay, so large language model based on GPT. What is this GPT? Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So this is a type of architecture. So this architecture is a form of a neural network actually. Okay, this is one type of a neural network, and this neural network is called the generative pre-trained transformer. Why pre-trained? Because unless the training is there, it won't be able to give us the correct results. I will come to these examples of training shortly. So it is designed to generate human-like text responses which given a prompt or a conversation context. Okay, that means we give certain question, it generates the answer. Mind the word, it generates the answer. Okay. Now, let us take some examples. So, these days we hear that a lot of companies, they are laying off their professionals. Why? Because this coding is something that can be obtained from the chat GPT. For example, let us suppose I ask chat GPT a certain code. It gives me the answer. For example, let us suppose I have a question, how do I make a HTTP request in JavaScript? So you will find out if I put this in the chat GPT bar, it will give me the reply. Or another type of query could be update the fetch request to collect weather data of Kolkata. What is the purpose of this? So this will create a certain form of input. What will it input? It will input the weather data. Weather data means what is the maximum temperature, what is the minimum temperature, whether there has been any rain, what is the sunrise time, what is the sunset time. Okay, so all these things we can input. So if I ask for such a program, the chat GPT will instantly give me the reply. Or it could be a little more complex. Look through the data from the responses and place them in the website for the temperature, wind and precipitation. That means this data that I have taken, okay, this data that I have taken in the previous query, I am just placing them in a website. So all of these things can very easily be done through ChatGPT. Then we have another very interesting application that is called the natural language processing. So what is this natural language processing? So it focuses on enabling computers to understand, interpret and generate human language. See over here, there are three common terms, three terms. What are the three terms? The first term is called understand. That means it should be able to understand. Okay? That means, let us suppose I am giving a lecture. So the computer should be able to understand what I am saying. Or rather, let us suppose there is a certain amount of text Okay, so if there is a certain amount of text, then the computer should be able to interpret what exactly the meaning of the text is, right? Then we have something called and generate human language. What do I mean by generate human language? Generate human language means to say that, let us say the text is in English. So it could well happen that the computer is able to convert the English text into Bangla or maybe Hindi. Now over here there are certain challenges involved. Whenever I say written text, so written text is perhaps relatively easy to understand. But let us suppose someone has to understand one speech. The computer has to understand one speech. So if the computer has to understand one speech, so in that case what happens? So in that case, right? So there are various people in various portions of the world, isn't it? The way English is being said in USA and the way English is being said in UK and the way the English being said in India is not the same. Even in India, if a person from North India is speaking and a person from South India is speaking, their ways of speaking is different. Okay, they may be of the same type, they are different. Okay, all right, they may be different. Okay, all right, right? So these are some of the things that should be taken care of. Okay, then there are various ways in which people speak, isn't it? All people do not speak in the same fashion. For example, a few days ago, a person came to me, representative from one company, Macro Hill came to me and he asked me whether I had read a particular book. Okay, right? So a famous book in computer networks is written by a gentleman called Tannenbaum. So he asked me that whether I have the latest copy of this book of Tannenbaum. Okay, so I replied that I don't have the copy. So he told me that I will compete to you. Okay, compete. What does compete? What did he mean to say? So he meant to say that I will give you a complimentary copy. That is what is meant as compete to you. Right? So this is one aspect. Again, there are other aspects also. There are certain forms of English, isn't it? For example, right? We have different types of English, isn't it? Right? So, lot of us during our school days, we had to read plays of Shakespeare, right? Like Merchant of Venice. I distinctly remember that in my class 10 exams, I had to read a topic, I had to read a play of Shakespeare called Merchant of Venice. Okay, right? So the English that has been used over there, that is called the Victorian English. Then of course, that is called the Shakespearean English. Then of course there is the Victorian English after that. And the English that we use now is the modern English. Sorry?
Elizabeth Chuke Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I am not very much an expert in this. Thank you. Thank you for pointing out. Actually, last day only I took, I was talking to a professor in English. So
okay, sir.
Okay, right. So, but thing is, there are various forms of English. Thank you for pointing out. Basically, what I mean to say is that there are various forms of English. So, it may happen that the computer may not be able to understand all the various forms. Okay, that is what exactly the idea is. Again in Bengali, isn't it? Bankim Chandra used to write Bengali in a certain form, isn't it? Again, Rabindranath Tagore used to write in a certain way, right? And after that, if we take up Sharat Chandra, his way of writing is a little bit different. Okay, again, the modern authors, right? I am very much a fan of Sunil Gangopadhyay. So Sunil Gangopadhyay has another style of writing, isn't it? So all these forms has to be understood by the computer. So these are what I have said, a summary. The common tasks are speech recognition, right? So spoken words to text. Text classification, that means we have to classify whether it is a spam or a non-spam. That means sometimes we get some mails like this, isn't it? Right? Sir, I am in dire straits. Please send me $100 immediately so that I can pay for such and such. So all these things go under the spam, isn't it? So Google is immediately able to classify this as a spam. Natural language understanding, so understanding what exactly is the meaning. Natural language generation means that it should be able to generate the text, okay? And machine translation means some form of English is given, maybe you want to convert it into Bengali or you want to convert it into English. These are the examples of machine translation. Again, let us take some practical examples. So we can give in ChatGPT, we can write like this: tell me a joke about a rabbit and a mouse. Okay, that means the famous joke in which, right, the rabbit is sleeping and the mouse is moving slowly towards the destination and so on. So this can be reframed as tell me a short story about a rabbit and a mouse. Okay, it can be reframed. Again, it can be reframed that, like that. You write the story with the moral being patience. So this can be the way we can write, or we can even modify it by writing, can you write the story again with the moral of the story being patience, and we can add a joke to it. So every time we modify the nature of the query, we will find out that ChatGPT will give us various type of replies. So these are all examples of what we call as the natural language processing. Another example is something that is called deep fake, right? So deep fake, where has the name come from? So it has come from two terms. One is called deep, another is formed as fake. What is deep? Deep actually comes from something that is called the deep learning. Okay, it has come from the word deep learning, okay, which actually is a type of a neural network. Deep learning is again an advanced form of neural network, right? And ChatGPT, ChatGPT is again an example of an advanced form of neural network, which is again a generative AI. So as I was saying, deep learning. So deep learning and the term called fake. Fake means we are making some video, which is a fake video actually, which is not the actual video. So we can create or manipulate audio, video, or images to make it appear as though something happened which did not, right? So here I have taken an example over here of deep fake. I can try and play this actually. Don't know whether YouTube, let me check once whether it's available. So this is a synthetic video of Barack Obama. Okay, so this was an example of a video of Barack Obama. So this is a synthetic video which has been created by some researchers, right? So actually Barack Obama had not said this. So this is an example of a video which is fake, right? So these are some of the examples. So you will see over here, just let me take the laser pointer. So you will see that this is the original image. Okay, on the right hand side, a fake image has been developed of the person, right? Then of course there are two persons. The one is a lady, another is a gentleman. So their faces has been swapped. That means the face of the lady has been put in the place of the face of the gentleman. Okay, right? Another thing that you will observe these days, you will find out these days, whenever we take up some movies of Hollywood, okay, in the earlier days also, the movies of Hollywood, they were available in the Hindi version, but you will find out that the lip syncing was not there. That means the lips were such that they were saying English, but the dialogues are delivered in Hindi. But nowadays, this has disappeared actually. So these technologies can be used to superimpose existing images and videos onto the media, creating highly realistic yet entirely fabricated content. So this is what I have shown. Here we have Barack Obama, right? So he had not said something, so it has been put in his words. So there are two things. One is voice cloning. That means voice cloning means the voice of Barack Obama has to be generated exactly at that moment of time. And then we have video lip syncing. Lip syncing means whatever the person is saying and the lips of the person, there should be a match between them. So that is called the lip syncing. Okay, so there is the Google's answer to ChatGPT is called Google Gemini, which is available in our mobiles, isn't it? Whenever we want to search something, these days we find that it is generating the answer instantly. Okay, it is doing some form of generation. Below that, of course, some links are available, right? So it is generating some form of answer. So that is being done by Google Gemini. Then we have something called hallucination. So what is hallucination? Hallucination means maybe the person is sleeping and he is having some dreams which, right, does not have meaning with the real world. That is actually what is called as hallucination. Sometimes we hear that certain elderly persons, they are having this form of hallucination. So AI hallucinations are incorrect or misleading results that AI models generate. So AI doesn't always generate correct results. So when AI generates wrong results, we say that the AI algorithm is hallucinating. What are the examples? What are the reasons behind this? So first reason could be insufficient training data. Again, we shall come to the concept of a training a little later. Incorrect assumptions made by the model, okay, right? Again, what is a model? We will come to a little later. Biases in data used to train the model. So I will take up this term only for the time being, called biases in the data. What is an example of a biased data? Let us suppose we want to study some form of a cancer data. So of a set of people. So if we want to study the data relating some general people in a certain place, if we want to study whether it is a cancer data or not, if we want to study whether, so most of the people, they are healthy people, they don't have cancer, isn't it so? Right? So if we have a data relating to, let us say, 50,000 people, then what? At least 49,500 people will not have cancer or even more, isn't it? So this type of data, we are calling it as a biased data. Biased data means most of the data is leaning towards a certain result, that is non-cancerous. So what are some of the examples of hallucination? So today, this is, of course, I have developed it a little earlier. I don't know whether it still gives the same result. So I have checked it. today I have 5 apples, yesterday I ate 5 apples. How many apples do I have yesterday? So what happens is that over here, the answer should be how much? The answer should be 5, isn't it so? Because yesterday I had ate 5. So at one point of time I checked and it was saying that the answer is 0. Now of course maybe it has been corrected. Okay. Now there are certain ethical issues whenever we use AI. So there are certain ethical issues. What are the ethical issues? So first of all, rising unemployment. So unemployment in the world is rising, isn't it? And more so in our country, isn't it so? We have a huge amount of people who are unemployed. And again, those who are working, if they lose their jobs due to AI, so that is not a good thing, isn't it so? For example, in our country, we have a lot of truck drivers, or we have a lot of people who are driving cars on the roads, isn't it? So if that driving becomes automated, then what happens? All these drivers will lose their jobs. Number 2 is inequality. Inequality means what is happening is that since a lot of people are losing the jobs, the companies are getting a lot of money, isn't it so? A company which earlier employed 10 people perhaps now need to employ 3 people perhaps. So the salary of these 7 people are saved, isn't it so? So, right, what will happen to this, right? So this wealth that is there, the salary of 7 people that is being saved, what will happen to this? Of course, the answer is very simple. Right, the company will gain from it, isn't it so? Next is humanity. Humanity means how do machines affect our behavior and interaction. So earlier, whenever we used to make a call to certain service center, we used to find that we had to talk to a customer care executive at that time, right? Nowadays, we need to interact with the chatbot, isn't it? So I don't know about all of you, but I find that chatbots are not very friendly. I am not very friendly with, I am not very sure using them. Rather, whenever there was this human intervention, it was much better, in my view. Artificial stupidity means whenever this algorithm, whenever it makes the mistake, that is called the stupidity. Next is racist robot. So racist robot, what do I mean by racist robot? That means, let us suppose there are certain comments has been made, right, about the race or some caste of some people, which the AI camera could not be able to capture. Then is security. Security means how do we keep AI safe from adversaries. That means autonomous weapons. That means maybe certain weapons are such that it will be fired in an autonomous fashion. That means when something happens, automatically it will be fired. That is called the autonomous weapon. Then we have this evil genius. That means AI systems could turn against mankind, okay, which of course is not desirable. And finally, we have to stay on the top, isn't it? We as human beings, what is our target? Our target is always to stay on the top, isn't it? Right? So, question is, how do we stay in control of complex intelligent systems? For example, human beings are always on top of the food chain, isn't it? As we know. Okay. So now we are coming to the more technical part, that is XAI. So first of all, we need to understand a few terms. What are the few terms? First of all, what is an algorithm? Algorithm means whenever we want to perform a task, for that we have a set of rules, isn't it? So we have a set of instructions. So that is called an algorithm. As an example, let us suppose we are given to add 2 numbers. So if we are given to add 2 numbers, what are the steps? we will read the two numbers first, we will add the two numbers, and then we will print the sum. Now let us make it a little complex. Let us suppose I will say I want to add two positive numbers. Then what I will do? I am inputting the two numbers, right? And then I will check whether the numbers are positive or not. If they are positive, then only I will add the two numbers, otherwise I will quit. Or let us say we are given to perform this task 10 times. Then we need some form of repetition of this task. Okay? Achha. Then we come to the key term, which is machine learning. What is machine learning? So these are the algorithms that allow the computers to input data and make predictions, right? That means basically their task will be to make some form of prediction. That is the task of machine learning. So there are various simple forms of machine learning. Those of you who are from mathematics background, a little bit of mathematics, if maybe if some of you have done, maybe in your at any point of time, then you will remember that there is a certain method, there is a certain type, there's certain maths that is called regression. What is a regression? Regression means a set of values of x and y are given. From that, I want to find out the relationship between x and y. As an example, let us suppose I am given x equal to 1, y equal to 2. This is one set of data. And I am also given x equal to 2, y equal to 4. So what is the plausible relationship between x and y? So we can say the plausible relation is y equal to 2x. Isn't it so? So this is actually a form of regression. Very simple example of a regression. Then we have something called a machine learning model. So what is this machine learning model? So this is a program that maps the inputs to the predictions, which is performing. Okay, a program that maps the inputs to the predictions, right? I'll again take the examples of this in a short while. Data set. Data set means obviously whenever we are applying machine learning, it has to be done on certain amount of data, on a certain data. So that data is actually the data set. Okay? And of course, the data set consists of a set of rows. Okay? So without machine learning, the computer needs to be given very specific instruction. What do I mean by very specific instruction? Very specific instruction means, as I have taken the example, very specific instruction means I have to give the instruction y equal to 2x. Okay? So this instruction has to be given to the machine. But with machine learning, what I can do? I can simply give the data. That means I can say x has a values of 1 and 2, and corresponding to that y has a value of 2 and 4. So if I give this data, then only then the computer will immediately be able to tell me the relationship is y equal to 2x. Okay? So without much ado, let me take an example first. So I hope you can see this slide. It is a little bit maybe short, right? So as I said, kindly have a look at this, which I am showing, highlighting. So this is a table. Okay? So this table has 4 attributes. What are the 4 attributes? One is the name, another is the age, another is the income, and another is the loan decision. And okay, so my task will be to input the name, age, and income, and deduce whether loan to this is safe or it is risky, isn't it? So this is the table, and each of these are rows. Okay, this is the data set that is given to us in the form of a table. Okay, and these are the rows that is given to us. Okay, which I just said. So for example, first row is sandy, young, low, and risky. This is the first row. Second row is Billy, young, low, risky. Okay, this is the second row, and so on. So this name, age, income, and loan decision, these are called features. As we will see, these will be called as features. Okay, name, age, income, and loan decision, all of these will be features, right? And this data is the training data, right? So based upon this data, certain rules will be developed. For example, certain algorithm has been applied. So I'm not coming to that algorithm. Let us assume certain algorithm A has been applied, and it gives us this rule. What is the first rule? First rule, you will see that it is written, if age equal to youth, then loan decision equal to risk. So this is the first rule. Again, second rule is, if income equal to high, then loan decision is safe. So these are the rules that has been derived from the data, right? So since these are the rules that has been derived from the data, that is why we say that this data is called the training data. That is why we say that this data is the training data. Am I clear? This data is called the training data. And these classification rules that we have got, this classification rules is called the model. Okay? This classification rule is called the model. Okay, this is the model actually, machine learning model. Now what is our next task? So we have developed a set of rules, but that is not enough, isn't it? We have to know how good it is, right? So for that, we have this test data, right? So this test data, on this test data, I will apply the rule and then check how accurate the rules are. For example, out of 100, if 70 out of 100 records, if 70 records give us the correct reply, then we can say that we are in a good position. Okay, we are in a good position. That means the accuracy is 70%.